Hello and welcome back to Dislyte News, the Dislyte News for your Dislyte News. New patch is coming up and we're gonna talk about the new espers yet again. So for the new patch, we're gonna get two new espers. The first one is Pindar, which you would know from the previous story. So Pindar is a support for your leftmost esper, which is also your captain ability esper. So if that esper dies, most of the buffs that Pindar gives will basically be wasted. There's not gonna be any more buffs. And looking at the buff that Pindar gives, it's mostly about like true damage and stuff like that. So it looks like it's not really gonna be used in PvE and only gonna be used mostly in PvP. In terms of resos, none of its resos look all that good other than R6, which basically like shares damage with the leftmost esper even more so and mitigate damage even more, which is like basically just making the leftmost esper unkillable. All in all, I feel like Pindar is not really gonna be that worth because his buff only works on the leftmost esper. He doesn't really give off a whole lot of utility to all the other espers, so yeah. Now for the second esper that we're getting in this patch, yup, it's the one you've been waiting for. It's the one and only Nah, it's a new Shimmer esper called Maria. So what Maria does is that she gives all your espers the ability to freeze the enemies, which, you know, freeze meta with Yukine. So Yukine is basically back on meta because of Maria. When you look at her kit, her abilities don't really work on bosses, so she's pretty much just PvP only. And in terms of resos, she does get better with resos. So if you're able to get like higher and higher resos, your Mario will be better and better and gives you like more opportunities in PvP. Just like any other espers in PvP, honestly. All in all, I would say that Mario is very worth. So far, I don't think there is a counter for Maria. I could be wrong, I could be severely wrong, but it doesn't look like there's a really hard counter for Maria. So there might be a new meta coming to Dislyte, just so you know. Alright, now that we're done with the new espers, time for the weekly espers. For week 1, we're getting Zhou Hong and Ethan. Zhou Hong is not in the meta. He's PvP only because of his kit and you don't really see him in PvP. But if you really want to use Zhou Hong in PvP, you will need resos, like R6 and all that stuff. Every PvP esper just needs resos. That's just how it is. All in all, I think that Zhou Hong is a skip. For Ethan, he's also not very meta. He's only really used in PvP and some of the tower contents, not really used in any of the PvE stuff. In terms of resos, if you want to go for Ethan, R2 and R6 is a good place to be. But other than that, Ethan is also a skip. For week 2, we have TA and Lian. TA is still one of the best AP controllers we have. She's still used in both Sonica and PvP. And if you're looking at resos, R2 and R6 is a good place to be. All in all, I think the TA is worth. She's just worth. Not really like really game breaking, also not really anything you should miss out on. For Lian, she's still a pretty meta healer. Nowadays, she's mostly used in PvP only, but in late game content, you can still use her in PvE and still be pretty good. But for Lian, like any of the other PvP espers, you will need R6. And this one especially, R6 is really important. So if you're able to R6 Lian, that can be quite worth, which is also her ranking, quite worth. For week 3, we have Fumitsuki and Mavis. For Fumitsuki, I swear to god, she was a weekly esper not that long ago, and she's already back. I don't know what's going on here. Might be a buff. That is really just like a guess that I just threw in there. Do not take my word for it, it is not a buff, but maybe. For Fumitsuki, she's not used in anything at all. Her stun kit makes her a PvP only esper, and maybe you can argue that she's used in tower contents, but for me, she's not really used there at all. And like any other PvP esper, R6 is gonna be where you wanna be. And I feel like at this point, anytime you see PvP esper, you should just immediately think, oh, R6. All in all, for Mitsuki, skip. For Mavis, she's not really meta. Her uses are mostly only in PvP and tower at this point, and you really don't use her in PvP all that much anymore because she's not really that meta anymore. But in terms of tower content, she can be quite useful. So Mavis, I would say that R0 is enough for her. You don't need any other resos. You got one copy and it's set for life. So in terms of Mavis, just because of the tower content, I would say that she's slight worth. She has her uses in tower content. And that's about it. So yeah, that's all the espers coming out next patch. Hopefully Meta Ollie's gonna come out soon, because god damn it, this joke has been running on for too long. Anyways, share your stickers. Bye.